The number one profile that most people in the field of finance want to start their career in, or the reason they want to actually get into finance, is to get into investment banking. Unfortunately, most people don't even know what investment banking is. It's just a glamorous thing that they've heard of. An extremely high paying, an extremely people driven, an extremely finance driven profile. And true to its word, it does serve you really well when you get into it. But most people don't know what it really means. And worse, they don't even know how to actually get into it. There are so many misconceptions. So in this video, I'm going to really tell you guys how to get into investment banking and obviously laterally explain the whole point of this video. People generally feel that CFA is the way to getting into investment banking. And while there are definitely people who I know who are CFAs on their own who've gotten into investment banking, the best way to think about it is a combination of CFA plus MBA. I keep giving the example of Sharan, one of my friends. He was with me in PwC. He started as a chartered accountant, started working with me in PwC, gave his CFA while he was at PwC, joined Citibank, went and studied MBA at Rice University in the US, and now is an investment banker. But his goal was always get into investment banking, and he understood the pathway would be a combination of, in his example, CFA plus a couple of good brands like PwC and Citibank, plus an MBA to get into it. And that's the right approach. So what is the power of CFA plus MBA and why is it so coveted? In fact, to one step beyond, I have friends who've gone to IIM Trichy, and he was telling me that when companies were coming, right, JP Morgan's and the international banks, when they were coming for placements, they looked at everyone in the IIM and said that, okay, fine, all of y'all are extremely smart people, all have done IIMs. So how do I differentiate you guys to get into JP Morgan? And CFA, even CFA just level 1 turned out to be a great opportunity for many people. So CFA plus MBA is definitely coveted, not just in investment banking, but in finance as a whole. So how do you actually approach this? What should be the thought process? Depending on what stage you are in right now, I want this video to be the correct roadmap for you from where you are to hopefully getting a combination of CFA plus MBA for the right reasons. Now, if this is the first time you're visiting our channel, then please click subscribe. And if you find any value in this video, give us a thumbs up. So first we'll talk about MBA at Zell at least, is if you don't do MBA from the top 20 institutes, whether in India or overseas, if you don't do it from the top 20, don't do an MBA, right? In fact, I made a detailed video on this recently. Please have a look. That being said, the idea is the top 20 in India, obviously the IIMs, right? IIM A, B, C, L. This is Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow. Amazing institutions. XLRI, Jamnalal Bajaj, SP Jain, ISB Hyderabad. These are very famous MBA, very coveted MBA institutions. And if you get a chance to go through here, please go ahead. However, if you go to a tier 2 or you do an online or a part-time MBA, I would discourage you from going down that road. It's not going to really get you where you want it, right? Now, CFA on the other hand is a qualification that you can start even when you're in college. In fact, you can start studying as soon as you give your grade 12, start studying for it, complete 2 levels by the time you graduate, and then complete the 3rd level hopefully quite soon after that. If you're already ahead of that age, you can just pick up CFA. You can not only, and you don't get stuck. You can start studying CFA and simultaneously you can also work. You can also earn and gain exposure along with your theoretical knowledge. So CFA also prepares you for the finance world in a very practical and realistic way. Now, when you combine these two, right, CFA when you clear and MBA from the top 20 institutes, you become a master when it comes to finance and management of business. And that combination, to be able to look at the world of businesses from the lens of finance, will help you so much to actually add value to these organizations. You will understand how to take right investment decisions for the company, whether to buy assets, whether to lease them out, at what kind of amount to raise money if you need to, how much should be equity, how much should be debt, what would be the best future scenario for the company if they take only equity or a mix of equity and debt. You actually understand how the markets are working. CFA teaches you so much about what's happening in the equity market, what's happening in the debt market, and how your company or an organization you work for, how it gets impacted. You understand global finance, you understand foreign exchange, you understand risk. It goes on, and you combine that with organizational knowledge that MBA gets you, you combine it with the network you build in these top institutions, you become unstoppable. So with that being said, how should you really pursue this? Well, the best way would be that if you're still in college, obviously, right, and MBA is a little in the future, ensure that you pick up CFA and try to complete, if not level 2, at least level 1 by the time you graduate. After you graduate, right, let's say you've done both the levels, because you can take 2 levels when you're in college. After that, please start studying for your CAT or GMAT or whatever it takes, and try and ensure you get into the best institution when it comes to MBA. Put all your energy in MBA and make sure that the company you get into after that, it's heading you towards either it's a great brand or it's already into, let's say, a profile like investment banking, because that's when companies are going to hire you. Simultaneously, when you're studying in college, my suggestion would be that if you can manage and juggle college as well, start gaining work exposure. Because at the end of the day, if you're a CFA plus MBA and you have 0 work experience, you are not going to still be valued, unfortunately. Work experience for a couple of years is not that hard. In fact, if you can't do it through college, do it post-college before your MBA, but you will need to grind it out. You will need to work in some capacity in the field of finance. You might not love the role, but you've got to start working in it. You want to understand what you might have to network with a few people in the industry, let's say who are in investment banking, and then ask them that what should be my first role for experience if eventually after CFA plus MBA I want to get into investment banking. That's how you should approach it. By any chance, if you've already completed MBA or you're already pursuing MBA or you're about to start your MBA studies, you don't want to invest in CFA, no problem. Take up level 1, because just MBA plus level 1 will also be enough to get your career started. So this is how you should think of the roadmap and a combination of CFA, MBA. If you're by any chance confused, I would say it doesn't really help to get confused, because there is no reason to get confused. CFA is completely finance. MBA has more stuff around it beyond finance. Even though if you do MBA in finance, its core is finance, but it teaches you marketing, HR, operations, strategy, etc., etc. So you build a great mindset. Many people feel that with CFA, you can become a CFO. And with MBA, you can become a CEO. But that does not mean that's the limit. You can also invert the same. Lastly, we have multiple live webinars, seminars on which I talk about detailed examples of CFA and MBAs. So if you would like to visit that, please let us know. We'll keep on creating such content, hoping that you guys make the right decision.